Howdy. This is the first installment of what I hope to be at least a few more installments of the cranky old Christian lady. Yeah, I get cranky. I gotta be honest with you, I get cranky. I probably get cranky over stuff that you think's dumb. But I'm old. So I'm cranky and I'm old. But you can tell that by my wrinkles and my refusal to continue to dye my hair. So it's coming out good and gray and white. And I might put a purple streak in it. So how's that? There you go. It gets good and white. Yep. Purple. Right down the side. I mean, like those little tiny little hippie braids. Little teeny skinny thing. And dye that purple or hot pink. Yeah, there we go. And I'm a Christian. Now, you can have problems with that, or you can choose to just let me crank on you. It's up to you. And if you don't like it that I'm a Christian, you don't have to watch. God bless you. I won't hold it against you. You know, people believe what they want to believe. And I believe in Jesus. With that being all said, we're going to get back to me being cranky because that's the main issue. And, you know, I think about it, and I'm really glad God loves me despite my crankiness. It's a good thing. But I'm going to tell you, if I was God, there'd be a whole lot of people in big trouble. You know what I'm saying? So it's a good thing I'm not God. Whew. Because on a cranky day, no one's safe. I was thinking about being a Christian and being raised by a Christian mom. My mom was no pushover, and her favorite saying was, God never called her to be a doormat. Oh, boy, I think I turned into my mother, because I was never a good doormat either. Well, I take it back. I was for a while, because I just thought I had to please everybody despite their meanness. And I'm not going to treat anybody bad, but I'm not going to take any crap either. And it depends on the place and time and person, too. You know what I'm saying? So, there are some cases where I try to behave myself. Well, anyway, being raised by my mother. That was back in the day. You know, she was going to raise you to be a Christian and a lady, or she'd beat you in Jesus' name. And I'm not kidding you. Yeah, I kind of am. It was back in the day where you got a whooping. You know, people don't do that anymore, but yeah, she could whoop on you. And you didn't even look cross-eyed at her because you knew my mom would wipe the floor up with you if you got just too rebellious, too mouthy. Yeah. Yep. That was my mother. But we were awful children, so we probably deserved every whooping we got. Yeah, like the time we decided to play beauty parlor out in our backyard, and all the neighborhood kids came over. And we decided we were going to play beauty parlor. And it was me and my sister, my two older sisters. Anyway, we had pretend curlers. We used like twigs and anything we can find in the backyard we had. But then we got the bright idea to get some scissors. Oh yeah, you know what's coming. Scissors. And so we gave everybody a haircut. We cut their hair off. Can you imagine the phone calls my mother got that day when those kids went home? Oh my word. It's a wonder we lived through our childhood. Ooh. You know, I was thinking about getting cranky, and I try hard to look at things, but I can't, you know, and try not to get too cranky, but some things just make me nuts. Like, I get on Facebook, right, and, you know, depending on how you feel about a certain issue or whatever, you know, you can get cranky right away, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about sheer insanity. For example, which is a beautiful example of this, I've been seeing these posts, and they've been on, you know, Facebook on and off for some time now, I believe. But it's like the picture of these women who get plastic surgery. I mean, they don't look normal at all. Why would you do that to yourself? And I'm thinking, good grief, good night, Nellie. What are you thinking, girl? I mean, you know, her lips are clear out to here, and her nose looks weird, and her eyebrow, you know, I mean, what is that? It's so dumb. If that's really real. Now, sometimes you gotta be careful because not everything you see on Facebook is real. But if that's real, I mean, good Lord, that poor girl. I'd pray for her but it's gonna give me a minute to stop losing my mind over it. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I mean, she could walk outside, and if she weren't wearing some kind of weighted moon boots that the astronauts wore, she'd be floating off to outer Mongolia or someplace. Buy that girl some medication and buy her some moon boots for her own safety. Good grief. I mean, that makes me cranky. What is that? I get cranky. I shouldn't apologize because some things I'm just get cranky here. I'll tell you something else, and then I'm going to let you go. This is a story. My husband and I, we just were so sad over all the terrible news and, things on Facebook, people being nasty to each other. And I get cranky about that. But it also makes me feel bad. And anyway, we decided to just get the heck out of Dodge. So we take a little joyride, and we ended up at the lake. And we had a wonderful day. We walked along the water. We took my little dog Henry. That could be a subject sometime. Oh, I don't get cranky with him too often. But we took him. We just enjoyed the sights. We saw a couple of attractions in the area. We just had a wonderful day. Nice, cool breeze off the lake. I mean, it was just a lovely, lovely day. Anyway, we almost hated to come back home because it just did our hearts good. We, remarked on that on the way home. Our spirits were lifted. Our minds felt renewed. And, yeah, life felt kind of, pretty good at that point. So we're driving home, and I get a hankering for some ice cream. Ice cream. Yeah, ice cream. That'll put a smile on anybody's face. And you know what? You ain't right if you don't like ice cream. There's something wrong with you. You don't like ice cream. Well, anyway, so we stopped at this place that I knew. I was familiar with them because they've got a flavor of ice cream that I just love. Oh, yeah. So I talked my husband into stopping, and I went in this little place, and I was looking around because my husband happens to like frozen yogurt, so I thought, well, I'll get him some frozen yogurt if they have any. And they didn't. They did not. And so, sorry about your luck, buddy. No frozen yogurt for you. But I went ahead and I found my ice cream. I was so happy because that make my mouth happy. So I snatched that up, buddy, and I go to the cash register, and I get the bright idea that, maybe I should just maybe get a little sample of this so my hubby can taste it to see if he likes it too, because I would be kind enough and loving enough to share, and I don't want to say that, but I would be willing to share if he liked it. So I asked the young man behind the counter if I could have like one of those little tiny, how you've seen them at different places. They have little like tiny cups with like little teeny tiny spoons, or you could taste something, So I asked for one of those so my husband could taste this, right? And the kid just stares at me and he says, well, will that be 1 scoop or 2 scoops? And I look at him like, really? No, I don't want a full scoop. I just want a little sample of it to take it out to the car. I had to repeat this 3 or 4 times. What is that? And every time he says, well, that'd be 1 scoop or 2 scoops. Well, I'm not buying 2 scoops. I'm buying already a bunch of it. I'm not buying. I just want. And luckily for that young man, because I was getting to be a little cranky at this point. Yeah, I sure was. And girl that was working, he was probably new, probably hard of hearing, although he was young to be hard of hearing, but he may be new, maybe hard of hearing, or just plain stupid. But she said, so she walked over and got one of those little, sample cups. And she said, just give her a couple little bites of this so her husband can taste it. And so he did what he was told. I'm surprised he even knew that direction. Oh. But anyway, and so he hands me the sample, right? And I go to, stick my card in that, the card swiper, or I got chips, so you have to stick it inside. And, that's another subject for another day. Those things are not your friend. Anyway, so I stick my card in the little slot to pay for it. And I pull my card out. It's approved, yada yada. I looked up at that young man, and he rolled his eyes at me. He rolled his eyes at me. Instant crank. I was already a little cranky, but I was at full tilt at this point, I gotta tell you. And I'm gonna tell you what, it took every ounce of grace and Christian love, and sometimes that wears off sometimes when you're that mad. You gotta be careful with that. But it took every bit of grace that God ever gave me my entire life to not just want to beat some sense into that boy's head or go off. It was like, oh no, with my hand on my fat little hip, and oh no, you did not roll your eyes at me. Anyway, I hurried up. Because you can, the Bible says you can be angry and sin not, so I just thought, I better not sin. Take on, because I wanted to sin. But the Bible says not to, so I'm trying to be good, right? Anyway, so I get out to the car, I hand my husband the sample, and he liked it well enough. And then I went snap, crackle, pop in the car. And I was like, he rolled his eyes at me, and I told him the whole rigmarole I had to go through to get that sample. And when you're wound up and angry about something, and you've worked yourself up into a lather, and sometimes you have to work yourself. I mean, it's work, and you're there. The last thing you want is somebody trying to make you laugh. Have you ever had that happen to you? Oh, yeah. Don't try to make me laugh. Don't do it. I've worked myself up for this. It was hard work. I deserved the snit I'm in, right? Anyway, my husband looked at me and he grinned, and I thought, oh, here it comes, buddy. Wrong day, wrong time, wrong old woman. He looked at me and he grinned and he said, well, that poor young man had no idea what danger his life was in. I said, oh, daggone you. Daggone you. Because then I started laughing. And I was kind of over my snit. But I get cranky back. You know what I call that kind of thing? I call it stupid with an attitude. And if nothing makes me crankier, it's stupid with an attitude. And that was a good example of it. Stupid with an attitude. Roll his eyes at me. Good night, Nellie. Well, those are my cranks for the day. I hope that I'll get to do this again soon, because I do like talking to you. And this is going to be kind of fun, because everybody should have a forum somewhere, even if it's a good friend, that you can just crank it out on. So until I'm ready to crank out on you again, be blessed, be happy, and bye-bye.